Greetings Graviteam Tactics Mius Front players to my playthrough of the first scenario from the DLC, the Day of the Olifant, which I have called the Battle of Canoga. The star of this DLC is none other than the Olifant itself, probably the ultimate expression of the British Centurion tank. So let's have a look at some of the facts here. The 105mm GT7L 51 gun, developed by the South Africans, was a very potent outfit against the T55A Mod 1963, which is the most common vehicle we'll combat against in this DLC. The M456 heat round at 350mm of armour out to 1500 metres shows its potency. The side armour of the T55A is 160mm, which at 45 degrees of incidence is about 235mm of armour. So does the front armour of the turret at 200mm at 0 degrees incidence, can that overcome 350mm penetration of the M456? I would suspect so, except perhaps under the most favourable of circumstances for the T55 as far as the angle of incidence on its turret or frontal turret area. So all the stats are there if you're interested in having a look. Another weapon in the SADF armoury that we might be interested in is the Milan. Produced in France, the 116mm Milan anti-tank guided missile. Incredible armour piercing capability of around 480mm. So finally the SADF have a weapon with decent range and armour penetration. So if we go for the turret once again as the hardest part, there's no way even a direct hit against 200mm of armour is going to slow the Milan down. So this is a potent weapon in our armoury. So on to turn 1 of the DLC, and you can see there the map of the Chambinga River with the tactical notes for 0800 hours on the 9th of November 1987. The Fabula 16th Mechanised Rifle Brigade Defence at the outlet of the river Chambinga blocks the roadway and makes it difficult to pursue the broken Fabula brigades on their way to Quito Cuanavale. Combat mission: by a joint attack of 2 battle groups, crush the enemy strongpoint, advance in the direction of Quito. UNITA battalions provide recon and spotting of the enemy fire nests. A walk in the cool morning air precedes the day's tumultuous activity. We provide some preparatory fire on Canoga. all appears to be going to plan until we get a report that our M40s have been hit. And unfortunately the Angolan Air Force has made itself felt by a direct hit on two of our M40s. These guys can cause you a lot of grief, and stop the advance in the tracks as you have to put your troops under cover. And a bit of luck, one of our anti-aircraft Stingers makes a hit. And a second hit, so both aircraft have taken a hit. I was looking forward to seeing an aircraft plough into the ground, but it just didn't happen. But the good news was that was the end of the Angolan Air Force. We didn't get the elongated version of their attack. So our infantry soon locate the first of the armoured vehicles, and the first thing I do when I find our armoured vehicles is call up the Panzergrenadiers. I should say motorised infantry, but I treat them as anti-armour infantry. In fact, the motorised infantry is your primary anti-armour weapon for the South Africans, especially when you don't have any tanks on hand and only have the Ratel 90s. So I try to use the infantry or the scouts to spot the armoured vehicles and then call up the Panzergrenadiers. So that's the line of the setup: scouts, infantry, then the Panzergrenadiers behind them. So here's another star of the show, the Milan anti-tank guided missile. Meanwhile, the Panzergrenadiers that I tried to move into position decided to take another route altogether, and I was a little bit concerned about them running into that BRDM down the other end of the road, so I quickly unloaded and ordered them to get off the road, which is a good point for the future, is when setting destination for motorised vehicles in particular, set short bounds so they don't go their own way, which might be into harm's way. So to get round unusual vehicle movement, just set shorter bounds. So that was, I think, was one of our Milans going off. So here's another common tactic I use in highlighting, in this case, the infantry, putting them in concealed mode and just get them to crawl towards the target, especially in this great cover where the infantry can basically disappear into. It's a regular tactic of the Angolans to dig their vehicles in, which makes them very difficult to bump off by a tank. or even another weapon. So you'll find that the best way to get rid of those, as I'll demonstrate in this video, is to use your Panzergrenadiers to come upon them undetected. And it looks like here the Kanoka is warming up. So once again I grab this group of Panzergrenadiers and move them by bounds so I can unload them and get them into the action against the armoured vehicles. So the infantry aren't defenceless against armoured vehicles with the RPG-7, but certainly I prefer having the motorised infantry doing that task rather than the infantry. The explosion in the background there, I'm not sure if that was a mine or something else, but there are mines in the vicinity of Kanoka. So the guys are after this chap here. So with the infantry and motorised infantry deployed and taming the initial Angolan defence, I thought it was safe enough to bring up our T-55s. So you can see the enemy vehicles there at the front is in yellow and red. So the idea here was the tanks actually stopped those vehicles from escaping and pinned them in place, while our Panzergrenadiers go through the deep vegetation to their right and pick them off, much as we destroyed the last vehicle. As you see here, I've identified the Panzergrenadiers, the motorised infantry, and I'm moving them through this thick scrub, and they'll continue along this creek line to where the Angolan vehicles are located. So these four Angolan officers fought to the bitter end, that's for sure. Brutal. So downtown Kanoko is all ours. So it was a pretty tough battle. Quite interesting having the anti-aircraft stingers do their job. The first time I've seen that. Probably the first time I've had the Milans on deck as well. So quite an interesting first scenario in the day of the Olifant, even if the Olifant itself did not appear. So here are the battle results. So I think on balance I may have won one for a change. So this is the first time for everything. Well, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the presentation. Enjoy your gaming, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers.